What's up, Royals? Hope you're all doing well. And this is an egg cutting video. But first, I got to give a quick thanks to our sponsor, Redline Shipping. Great products, great service. I use them. Go give them a try. And while you're there, use promo code Robin60 for 60% off. And you can also use my promo code Kai5 for an additional $5 off your next shipping label. This right here is a pied to a het pied clutch. Sometimes these are more interesting because there's a little bit more excitement. This is a pastel DG pied to a blackhead Mojave het pied. So I have not made any blackhead pieds yet, so I'm excited for this one. And like I said, a pied to het pied makes things more interesting. We do have one egg that doesn't look too good, but today is the day to cut. So we have one egg with a little head coming out right here. Let's see. This might be it's very light in color. This could be a pastel, maybe Mojave, maybe a pastel blackhead. It's very light in color, but we're gonna find out right now. Let's see if we can get him or her to go back in, and if not, then we'll just find a spot. See, I want to cut away from the head. I don't cut towards the head. There we go. So I am looking for my very first blackhead pied, and if it has Mojave in there, so be it. Don't mind. And that unfortunately is not a pied. It could be, or I believe it to be, a blackhead pastel het pied het DG. Because if it was a pastel Mojave, it could have been a pastel Mojave. For some reason I was thinking pastel, black pastel. Black pastel's not in here, so that's not possible. But if it was, it would be a pewter or a black pewter. But that's not. Oh, we got a pied. That is definitely a pied. Is it a pastel? Is it a Mojave? Is it a blackhead? I don't think so. I think this is just a pied. At most, it could be a pastel pied, but I think it's, for now, let's just say pied. It's very bright though, but that could also be the het DG influence. So there it is. And by the way, these veins, they're there for oxygen exchange. It doesn't hurt if we do touch them or nick them. It doesn't hurt the animal at all. All right, egg number 3. We got 6 eggs here, so half the clutch should be pied. We are on that mark right now with 2 eggs down, one of them being pied. So we do have a little bit of mold going on here, some bacteria. There's another one that has a lot more of this stuff, so I'm going to try to save that one for the end. Okay, we got a lot of white in here, so this has to be a pied. We have a ton of white in here. And you can see there's very little vein. So this one was a little bit further in development than the last one, but hasn't come out yet, hasn't decided to pip yet, and we cannot see the head. The thing is with these pieds, high white pieds, the head is usually still has pattern. Oh, we do have some pattern right here, and that is the head. So that is the head. If we make a little slit right here, maybe we can get a glimpse of the head. There it is. That I believe to be a Mojave, maybe a pastel Mojave. The color of this egg doesn't appear to be too great. I don't see any movement. Let's check. Yeah, unfortunately, I think this one has passed. There's a little bit of color on here as well. I believe this to be a Mojave. Unfortunately, I don't think this one made it, so I'm going to set this one aside for now. Actually, we'll put it back over here. That way I could check it again, and if I have to dispose of it, then that's what I'll do. That's unfortunate. All right, egg number 4 now. This looks like another pied. A very low white pied, possibly? No. This looks like a het pied. Does it look similar to this one? No, it does not. The colors are definitely not similar. Definitely need to wait for this one to come out. It doesn't look like a blackhead Mojave. It could be a blackhead pastel. That could be a blackhead pastel. It looks light, lighter than a typical blackhead, so I'm guessing the pastel got mixed into it as well. Doesn't look like, definitely doesn't look like a pied anymore with that dorsal stripe. All right, so let's put that away, but it's definitely a het pied and het for DG. All right, the last good looking egg here. And this is not a pied, looks like a typical pastel. So we have a pastel here. All right, so now let me move this out of the way, just in case this one is a bad egg. I don't want to drip all that nastiness. Actually, you know what? It's a bad egg. I can feel it. It's rubbery inside. It's definitely gone. So we're not going to even deal with that. All right, let me give you an update on this clutch. This one is interesting because it actually is pastel and blackhead together. If you just look at the body, you might think, oh, it looks light like a pastel, but then you look at the head, you don't get that blushing. And that's because the blackhead is fighting it. Blackhead seems to be interesting because it's like one of the very few, or maybe the only gene that I know of that is strong enough to conflict with pastel and fight that blushing that usually appears throughout the body and on the head. It does give it a very like nice, clean, even tone look, because usually with pastel you get more yellows near the bellies, and then it kind of fades away to like a dirty color as it gets higher up to the dorsal. But you can see this is a very nice and even coloration, and that's the pastel and blackhead working together. And then of course, like I said, that head, the blackhead is trying to make it dark, and then the pastel is trying to bring out that blushing, and then you get something that looks like this. Of course, the other indication that it has blackhead are these eye bands. You can see blackhead eye bands are very short and kind of narrow, and they always end a little bit earlier before I guess the skull meets the neck. So this is a blackhead pastel, and of course it's double het for DG and pied, so that's pretty cool. As far as the sex goes, let me see if I can do this. This is a little guy. Two of these are kind of little. A little juice came out, but that's okay. That looks like a female. Now we have this one. This is the only visual recessive out of the entire clutch. Unfortunately, we missed on the blackhead, and I believe this is a female. Let me just double check. Yep, that's a girl. Yeah, so we hit another pied double het. Sorry, no, not double het. A pied het for DG female. So we have several of these. I have many of them. I don't think I need all of them. Probably 6 or 7 by now. And I don't need all of them, so I'm willing to let a few go. But yeah, pretty happy with this one being a female. You know, if they don't sell, I don't have any problems holding them back. But like I said, I don't need all of them. I'd rather have some more variety in my collection. So now for the next one, this is really interesting. I think this has all the genes, but I looked online, did some comparison for other animals with pastel, Mojave, and blackhead. With the het pied, it does add a little bit of this chaining to it. That's a het pied influence. I don't know if desert ghost influences the animal's appearance at all or much, but this one is very unique. And what I found, and take a look at the stripe. What I found online, because I had to do my research. I had to try to figure out what this is, if there could be something else in it. And what I found was leopard seems to also add this chaining to it. But I know for a fact that there's no leopard in the pairing. The mom is a blackhead Mojave het pied. So this has to be more than that. The dad is a pastel, so maybe that's what's adding to some of the coloration, but it doesn't seem to be the likely culprit for all of this chaining. It's just way too much chaining going on here, and I didn't quite understand what was going on. It kind of looked bongo-ish. One of my friends told me that, but I know there's no bongo in the pairing as well either. The only bongo I have that's a male that's up to size is a bongo clown, and the fact that we got a pied in here and a pastel in here tells me that I don't think that clown was mistakenly put with the mom of this clutch. Also, you can see that there's some blushing coming through. Again, probably the blackhead and pastel fighting each other, so I think this is a pastel. So what I know now is that it's most likely the all 3 gene. It's a double het for desert ghost and pied. What I was trying to get to was I did work with something called a red gene ringer gene before. Never bred that animal, but with that animal I noticed some chaining as well. So when I looked online and did some comparisons on Morph Market, adding the red gene to my filter on Morph Market yielded something similar to this. So it's very possible that the mom may have been carrying the red gene, but I didn't know about it, and then adding the pastel to it brought it out. So that's kind of what I'm leaning towards. So maybe I have this extra red gene in this pairing. Oh, by the way, that one was a female as well. This one is the only male from this clutch, and you can see all this melting happening with its pattern and alien heads. I believe this is the only male. I feel like I might have checked yesterday. I see a little bit. You can see a little bit right there coming out. I'll have to check again. I'm not 100% sure, but this is a beautiful animal. And the only thing that I could say about this in terms of its ID is that maybe it's just like the previous one, but slightly different variation. The previous one seems more on the whiter silver side with the side pattern, but this one seems to be more on the yellow gold side with the side pattern. That's the only difference. Also, this one's a little bit bigger, but in terms of the genes, I think they're the same. I'm already a little bit stumped as to if it really does have red gene or not, but definitely look at all these stripings along the side. Yeah, it's definitely something unique here. I'll probably hold back this one just to play around with it, maybe breed it back to the mom if it is a male. I think it's a male. I can't quite remember. I feel like there's at least one male in this entire clutch. So yeah, interesting stuff, but also definitely blows my mind.